morning. Will you please join with me in honoring our country? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dr. Wimbley.
Again, Father, I come thank you for the opportunity to say a prayer with this group. The service above self is our motto. Hopefully in our lives we will show and exemplify that in all we do. Bless this food Steve is receiving, and may it be used for his nourishment over again. And bless this group in my name, Jesus, we pray.
Amen. Thank you. Mr. Honeycutt.
Good morning, Rotarians.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Honeycutt.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Well, all right. First thing, first order. Richard Tucker, you have a guest this morning. Would you be kind enough?
I will. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce Kelly Jones. Kelly Jones works for Private Financial and Insurances. She's a good friend of mine, and especially a good friend of mine to be here at 7 o'clock this morning. So please welcome Kelly Jones. Oh yeah, guess who gets this?
Hey,
guess who gets this?
Bring it.
Take that, my brother.
Whoa. About time.
I'm just mouth running off.
Just a formality this morning as we look across. Everyone's badge should be visible. Richard Tucker, you don't have yours.
Yeah, where's the badge?
I got it right
Where's
here.
your
That's
badge?
$1.
Where's yours?
Get it on.
Steve, you gotta have yours.
It's on.
That's $1. All right, Glenn, that's $1 for not having yours on. Is anybody else big?
Wayne.
Yes, sir.
He'll have his on.
Bob Steiger.
I know you.
Dr. White.
You already paid $1.
I did.
That's all
I knew something
Are
was
you for
coming.
real?
I'm real. I need $1.
Yes, get
You
it.
didn't have
Come
it.
on.
For real.
Yes.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Is he for real?
It's so you had to put it
Yes, sir. I got mine.
Not up high, not up high. You see it? No.
He did not.
Stevie Wonder
He did not. He put his on as you were speaking, and he got it on somebody else. I saw it.
We know.
I saw it.
All right, good deal. All right, just check. Okay. All right.
He doesn't know not to mess with me.
Does anyone have an announcement? Richard, I know you have one, winter warranty. One thing I was saying, the coffee has been stored for months. And I turned it over to Richard. Someone has knowledge of that can of coffee, but it hasn't been used, been stored, and I thought we could just give it to Richard for winter warranty. Anyone has objections, let us know.
That's what we bought when we had the meeting at my office, isn't it? Yeah.
3 years ago.
It should be good coffee, right? Richard, winter warranty, give us some update.
Okay. All right, winter warmth is this coming Saturday.
We know that.
All right. If you know that, do you know that you need to bring some pot of soup? Everybody bringing a pot of soup. Is there, as far as I know, everybody's coming. Is there somebody that's maybe not coming?
I can't. I gotta be out of town.
Okay. Can you have a soup? Can you bring some soup, or have somebody bring some?
I will work with someone.
Okay.
Get what we need.
Okay, and so everybody needs to bring us some soup, crock pot of soup or pot or whatever that is at Christ Lutheran Church in Hickory. I'll get the meat this week for the sandwiches, so if you can be there at least 9:30 at Christ Lutheran Church to help make the sandwiches, peanut butter jelly sandwiches, ham, bologna sandwiches, and I'm hoping to pick up the bread this Friday. I was going to ask Ron to do that, but I understand Ron and BB's having some issues, so I didn't bother with him. Glenn and I reached out to Flowers to see if we could get the bread. Hopefully we can get that for Friday and pick it up. I've already got all the socks. The socks are there, which I'll need some help at the tables with the socks to allocate that. I'm supposed to get some gloves, which I haven't got yet, but I'm supposed to have some gloves. We did bag the toiletry in individual bags, gallon bags, to give away to each person. Glenn and I also went and got all the food, which is Jake's money right here, all the food. We got it, and the youth has put them in bags. We've got 70 grocery bags full of food, and we're hoping to take the bread too and put a loaf of bread in each one of those bags as well. So we'll need some help in that and allocating those per family. Let's
Does
see.
somebody remember crackers?
Crackers, I got crackers.
Okay.
I got crackers. I got the spoons, I got the bowls. I think I've got just about everything except people to help.
You have
So-
soup, you have soup spoons?
What?
Soup spoons or those little ones?
I got good spoons, and I got good bowls too. I didn't get those small styrofoam, I got the bigger bowls. Make it easier for them to carry. We do have security that's coming, and so I think everything's all set. So all I need you to do is bring your soup, serve it, and then we'll have a great time doing that. Drinks, I got the drinks, I picked up the drinks from Pepsi, so I've got that. We've got ice, and we've got cups, and so I think we've got everything. All we need is your soup, that's all we need.
One question, Roger Irving, as he came in this morning, asked me, he said, well, how much money have we given Jake this year? Do you have the total?
Not for me, Doug.
Not for you?
He probably made one up.
Okay.
He doesn't have
All right.
I mean, I can get that for you, or you can use whatever he makes up.
All right, good enough. So Roger was concerned about it this morning, so just.
I'll make sure we get it.
All
We go over budget every year at different times, but I'll tell you
One of the
what.
things that one of the things I forgot to do, which Kelly Jones is coming that does, Thriving, is an action team. Kelly, would you mention something about that? Do you mind?
No.
Just tell us about what that's all about.
So all members, which are people that have basically proprietary products with our company, Thriving Financial, are able to apply for these action teams, which essentially is seed money. They're $250 gift cards to work on projects to basically give back. So anything that's service related, volunteer related, basically you just can't donate the money, it has to be action oriented, but every member gets 2 per year. So.
And so that's $250, and I forgot to do that this time for this thing, which would have helped Jake's money, and so I apologize for that, I forgot. And, but anyway, everything else is done.
All right.
Y'all get it, y'all get
Richard,
it.
I need another $1.
You cost us $250. You cost us $250.
He's only charging $2.
Kelly, can't he do that retroactively?
You cannot, you have to be at least 4 to 6 weeks in advance.
All right, one other
Next year I'll
announcement.
remember. Next year I'll remember.
Yeah, you cost us $250.
So that's what Jake's money does, and we've used it all. I'm sure we've used it all.
Every bit of it.
And we bought some throws, so we got throws too to give away. So that's what this money does.
Yes, and Jake has done well this year.
Jake has done what.
Great. All right, one other thing, and I'll turn it over to our president. I saw this morning, we had one Rotarian to bring in the February Rotarian magazine. Okay, most of you have just received it. Now, I don't know how much he's read, but I'm going to ask him a question. Okay, page 62. What is on page 62? Crossword puzzle. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right, I'm amazed. All right, it's amazing what you do. I'll have to pay a fine on that one, but anyway, Ron, congratulations. Okay, and we're glad to have you back. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Our program today has been brought to you by Mr. Ron Downs. So, Ron, I will let you introduce your guest.
My pleasure.
Okay.
I have privilege introducing Vicki Blevins. Vicki is the executive director of the Catawba County Council on Aging, and it's a great organization. And I'm flattered that I actually serve on the nonprofit. I serve on the board of directors. So a lot of people think of it as West Hickory Senior Center, but I started getting involved with them about a year ago, and they just got some great things going on. So I'm going to let Vicki do her thing. Right? Right, Vicki?
Let's welcome Vicki.
Before you come. Yeah.
All right.
Doctor, this is for you.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
You're feeling cold this morning, aren't they?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I really appreciate Ron inviting me. Thank you for listening to me early in the morning. I our current newsletter and our brochure. I'm going to talk about a lot of the things that we offer, but there's no way I can cover them all. So if you guys would mind, we'll pass these around so everybody can have one to take with you. Because my hope is today that, you know, you're going to hear something that either you can utilize, you may have a family member or a neighbor or a friend that can utilize something that we're offering. One of the things that concerned me when I became director 3 years ago was that some of the seniors in Catawba County still don't know what we do and aren't taking advantage of everything that we offer. We tried to expand our marketing and publicity, but our older population's growing, so the more we can get the word out, the better we are. So as Ron mentioned, the Council on Aging is it's a private nonprofit 501c3. We operate the West Hickory Senior Center, but we provide services to older adults throughout Catawba County. And a lot of this we do through partnerships with recreation centers, libraries, churches, and other organizations. We have a lot of volunteers. There's only 2 staff at the Council on Aging, myself and an administrative assistant. So we strongly rely on community partnerships and volunteers. The West Hickory Senior Center, which has been in operation now for 40 years, we just celebrated our 40th anniversary, is a multi-purpose senior center, and it's certified as a Senior Center of Excellence by the North Carolina Division of Aging and Adult Services. The mission of the Council on Aging is to provide a focal point for aging resources, as well as opportunities designed to extend independent living and enrich the quality of life for Catawba County older adults. So I could just tell you all the things we do, but I really want to focus this morning on the needs of Catawba County senior citizens. And I'll talk a little bit about how we try to help meet some of these needs, but I really want us to think about the needs that are out there. So one of the needs is the need for social interaction. Senior citizens are the fastest growing age group in our county, and that's going to continue for about the next 20 years according to projections. Currently, over 25% of people age 65 plus in Catawba County live alone, which means they are vulnerable to social isolation. Now, not everybody who lives alone stays at home and doesn't do anything, but unfortunately a lot of people do. Social isolation can be caused by retirement from work, loss of a spouse, declining health, and distance from family. Loneliness and social isolation can negatively impact physical and mental health, and there are more and more studies coming around that are showing this. It can contribute to anxiety, depression, heart disease, high blood pressure, suicide, and even dementia. There is a 32% increased risk of early death for those living alone. Whether or not you are healthy, those who are more socially connected live longer. And that's important. Just getting out and interacting with people can extend your life. So the Council on Aging exists partly to provide these type of opportunities for people. People can come to the senior center. They can take part in exercise. They can come to an arts and craft class. We have a lot of social events. We're doing a poor man's lunch, pintos, cornbread, coleslaw, this coming Friday. So there's things that people can get out and do. Most of the things we provide are free. And we'll talk about that in the next item, the need for some economic security. Unfortunately, there are many seniors in our county who are struggling financially. 8.3% of Catawba County senior citizens live below the poverty level. Another 24% live close to the poverty level. That's a lot of people who are struggling day to day just to make ends meet. Older adults are at greater risk of higher poverty rates due to living alone with lower incomes and increase in health costs. So one of the programs that the Council on Aging provides, which is a free service, is Medicare counseling through the SHIP program. Have any of you ever heard of SHIP? Okay. SHIP SHIP is the Seniors Health Insurance Information Program. It was started by the state of North Carolina Department of Insurance many years ago to help senior citizens get unbiased information about Medicare. So lots of people struggle with how and where to get information when they're turning 65 and how to make those critical decisions about Medicare. Because it's not just as simple as calling Social Security and saying, sign me up. There's lots of decisions to be made. What different options are there? What is best for me? So we have volunteers who are trained through the state of North Carolina Department of Insurance to help people understand those things. We don't give advice. We don't recommend companies. We just want people to know how to avoid penalties so that they sign up when they're supposed to and how they're supposed to. Penalties can add up to a lot of money. We see people who have penalties that are higher than their drug plan premiums. And once you have a penalty, you've got it for the rest of your life. So we want people just to know the facts, help them understand it. So that's something we do at a lot of different stages for people. We do it when they're new to Medicare. We do seminars and individual counseling. And every year during Medicare open enrollment, we can help people evaluate their current plan to see if there's something better. So just this past fall, when I was doing Medicare counseling, and we do this all over the county. We do it at the senior center. We go down to the library. I go out to the dialysis clinics. So anywhere that we think that there's a need, we try to go out and help folks with their Medicare counseling. I saw people save tens of thousands of dollars just on their drug plan by switching to a different plan, and they may or may not know how to do that on their own. Most people who are senior citizens are still struggling a little bit with technology. So even though the tools are out there on the Medicare website, they may not know how to use them or may not feel fully comfortable that they know exactly what they're seeing. So just that bit of assistance to help them get into a different drug plan for the next year can save them enough money that they can then buy their drugs, buy food, pay their rent, keep their mortgage up so they don't become homeless or rely on a family member. I mean, we've had people who've come in and made comments because of the change in my drug plan and the money that I've saved. I can now buy fresh fruit and vegetables at the grocery store instead of having to buy everything canned. Well, that's a big deal for people's health. So just the little things through programs like this are very beneficial to people. The state calculates what each county saves Medicare beneficiaries each year. We report all of the changes that we made, anything that we help sign somebody up for. In 2018, which is the last year we have data for, we helped 1,634 Medicare beneficiaries in Catawba County save over $850,000. That's a lot of money for those folks. So just one program to help people out. Another one is free tax counseling. So yesterday we started making appointments. We have volunteers who work through AARP Tax Aid. They do taxes for people free of charge at 3 locations in the county. Lots and lots of people benefit from this. So people, you know, a lot of times you only need to do a 1 or 2 page return, but that can still cost you several $100s. So that's a big deal to people who don't have that kind of money. We partner with Legal Aid of North Carolina to provide free legal aid. So people will come once or twice a year to the senior center. They're attorneys. They can do wills for people. They can do power of attorney. Everything's done on the spot, so people don't have to go and actually pay for that service. We also offer a food pantry. It's small because our building's small, but we've seen it very, very utilized since we started it a couple of years ago. Some volunteers just started bringing a few things. It grew. Some of the local grocery stores have helped us, but we see not only participants coming, but also some of the homeless in our neighborhood are now starting to come and utilize the pantry. And we've had people who've come in and said, you know, I never thought I'd use a pantry, but I really need it this month. I've run out of money. That may be the only time I need it, but can I please use it? So we do everything very discreetly, no paperwork involved. Just whoever needs it can utilize it. So economic needs are a big deal. Third thing I want to talk about is caregiving needs. So many of you may be caregivers. If you aren't, you probably know someone who's a caregiver. Many of our caregivers are seniors themselves. So we've got a senior citizen caring for a husband, wife, parent, brother, sister, even sometimes just a friend. These folks need support. There's lots of different reasons why people are caregiving. I'm not going to talk about all the different potentials, but one that we try to focus on at the Council on Aging are caregivers of people with Alzheimer's disease. So we know now that Alzheimer's is the 4th leading cause of death for people age 65 and over. That's huge and that's growing, unfortunately. Caregiving can be difficult, and often it can affect the physical and mental health of the caregiver. There's many situations where the patient outlives the caregiver because the caregiver never takes the time to take care of themselves. They're wholly focused on helping that person that needs the help. So we provide an Alzheimer caregiver support group that meets at the senior center to help those caregivers understand what resources are out there to help them. Now, there's respite care out there. You can get somebody to come free of charge and help out so that you can get out of the house and do the shopping without worrying about your loved one, or even maybe take a small vacation, which is desperately needed by a lot of caregivers. Sometimes it's good in a support group situation for people just to know there's somebody else out there in their same situation. They may not think anybody else is experiencing what they are. We've had one lady come in whose husband is only 50. He's been diagnosed with early onset dementia. So she's getting the support from the people who were there to understand what she's going to be going through in the next few years. And that's very valuable and very helpful to folks. 4th need, fall prevention. So one of the things most likely to keep you from enjoying life after 65 is a fall. And that seems kind of minor, but it's not. You fall and break something, it can mean the difference between you continuing to live on your own in your home and being in a facility the rest of your life. So anything that we can do to help older people prevent falls is going to benefit everybody. Falls are the leading cause of both fatal and non-fatal injuries to older adults. So we offer yoga and Tai Chi, which are both focused on balance. Balance is one of the key things to help fall prevention. We also partner with the Area Agency on Aging, who have trained instructors in an evidence-based program called A Matter of Balance. It's an 8-week program. We're getting ready to start one in February. And participants learn how to prevent falls, how to have good balance. They learn specific exercises to use to improve their balance. They even learn how to fall properly. So if you fall, there are ways to fall that you won't hurt yourself as badly. So there's just some great information, and we see this every time we offer it. It's a full class. So people know they need these things, and it's great that we're able to offer them. Again, this is free. Nothing I've talked about here costs anybody any money from a participant standpoint. So these are just a few of the key things that we're trying to do to meet the needs of our seniors. You'll see in the newsletter there's lots of other things. I mean, you could come and play trivia, you could come to a computer class. Smartphone classes are one of our most popular classes right now. There's lots of things going on. We try to keep it upbeat and new all the time. We take suggestions from our participants so we can add new programming. But I would just like for you to be aware of what we do, and please share it in the community. Let folks know where we are, what we're doing, and how to get in touch with us. We do have a website. The information's on the newsletter. So there's lots of ways to contact us. We serve the senior citizens, as I said, for over 40 years. The Council on Aging has actually been around since 1976. We served over 5,400 senior citizens last year. That number's growing every year as our older population's growing. We are a private nonprofit, so we're supported by grants, fundraising, and donations. We would love to have you come visit us at the Senior Center. And I thank you for your time today. Does anybody have any questions? Yes.
You mentioned saving seniors money because of penalties.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming this is Medicare Part D? Is that
And,
what that is?
and B.
Okay.
Mhm.
So could you speak a little bit for the folks that are approaching
Mhm.
Social Security?
For this aging
Certainly.
senior room,
Certainly.
I'll call you out.
Well, can I do it for you?
Not yet, big boy.
So, these numbers are important because we get a little confused. Not everybody retires at 65 anymore. Not everybody's Social Security age is even 65 anymore. So we have people who don't do anything about their Medicare, and they come up on 66 and they find out they've already got a year's worth of a penalty for Part B and Part D. So 65 is the magic number for Medicare. It doesn't matter what your Social Security age is. They're two separate things for all intents and purposes, okay? So 65 is the magic number of when you need to be thinking about Medicare. Now, if you're still working at age 65, which a lot of people are, you may be able to delay your Medicare, and that's okay, as long as you're working for a large employer who has insurance and you're going to continue that insurance. So you just have to do a little legwork, make sure that that insurance qualifies. But if it does, you can delay A and B if you want. You can take A and delay B. There's a few different rules around that, and we help people understand those. But one of the things I've seen, because I've been going out to a lot of furniture companies talking to their potential retirees, and I'm seeing people who are in their 70s and 80s who went ahead and got A and B and are still continuing their employer coverage because they thought they were getting more by doing that. It's actually hurting them. So you're really not getting more by having employer coverage and A and B. They don't work together. One doesn't supplement the other. And because they went ahead and took Part B, now they're going to have a more difficult time getting a Medicare supplement when it's time to do that. Because your Medicare supplement is timed off of your Part B enrollment. So it's just good to know all those things. But yes, you could get a penalty for not having Part B, plus it can delay when you can actually enroll. You may have to wait longer once you decide to because you didn't enroll when you were 65. And then Part D, your drug plan would be the same thing. But one of the biggest things I'm seeing right now is people actually doing things they don't need to do, paying a lot of extra money, and then having problems getting a supplement when it's time.
Can I say something?
Yes.
The most important thing is to be ahead of it. Okay, so I'm a huge advocate for you guys because we do a ton of insurance, but Medicare supplement's not our bread and butter. So we're educated on it and we sell it, but that's just not our prime market rate. So we just want to help educate people. But she's exactly right. Knowing before you get there is going to be your greatest tool. Part A is hospital. Part B is medicine. If you can, like doctor's office, if you can separate those in your head, it's going to help you. Part B is your issue though, okay? So you've either got to delay that or like be ready to go on it and get your supplement, because if you don't do that correctly, then you may not even be able to get your supplement because of healthcare reasons.
And I mean, we had somebody this week who could not get one.
And they don't care. If you don't do it right, that's you're done. So that's going to be one of the biggest decisions going into retirement.
Can I say something from a provider standpoint? If you're choosing your supplement, check with your physicians.
Yes.
All of them, not just your primary care,
Yes.
but all the subspecialties, eye,
Yes.
urology, gynecology, everybody, and see that they take your supplements. Because there are a lot of supplements that everybody takes, and then there's some supplements that nobody takes. And then there's some supplements that everybody but the eye people take. So you've got to sort of call, because we've run into that with our in-laws, and we've run into that with some patients too.
So I think, bottom line, we do new to Medicare seminars several times a year. They're advertised in our newsletter, or if you just want to call and find out when we're doing one. And we do individual counseling. Because you can come to a group meeting and an individual counseling, that's fine. If you can't come to a group meeting, you come to individual counseling. We have counselors there 3 days a week, plus I'm available anytime. That's what I started at the Council on Aging doing, was volunteer Medicare counseling. Loved being there. Ended up becoming director when the director retired. So it's a very tedious thing to know, but it's very rewarding because you can help people navigate this difficult territory. Yes.
do senior citizens, places like Pinecrest and Kingston, provide transportation for their residents to the senior center?
Not that I'm aware of.
How do most people get there?
So some people drive. We do have a Greenway bus stop at the road. There is a program called Seniors Morning Out, which is a county-sponsored program. They have 5 locations in the county. One of them meets at our senior center. They have a contract with Greenway to use a smaller bus to bring people right to the door of the senior center.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Vicki?
Thank you so much.
We have a little gift for you.
Oh, thank you.
I know you
Our-
had
Is it 30
about
years?
12 years old. How dare you ask?
Well, what I was going to say, but it is unique to us, but most people, what I've seen, they get scared by the penalty. But while they're what they don't understand that while what she said, while they're working and they're covered under the group health insurance, then the penalty doesn't apply to them. But what she said is exactly people allow because they're so scared about the penalty, they'll go out and get it anyways, and that's not what you want to do, because then you're paying for something 3 months before you have to.
Yeah, but you're giving us thank you, appreciate that.
Ron, thank you. Not late. All right. Some announcements. We'll start with Dr. White.
So, Steve has sent all of us an email about the play, the Black Angels over Tuskegee. That is February 4th?
Yes.
Which is a Tuesday. So, if we were to do that and maybe go to dinner together, that could possibly replace the next morning's meeting, since we're all old and we will have been out late that night, and then having to get up at 4:30 in the morning the next morning would be horrible. So what about, I'm saying for myself, because I have to get up at 4:30.
No, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that part. We're all old.
We are all old.
He's 12.
Well, except right. So what do you guys think about perhaps grabbing a meal together, and I'm not picking a place, and we can work that out if we decide to go forward with that, but get together, have dinner, go to the play, be obnoxious in the back. No, not really. Not good.
Well, let me add to that if I can. Steve, as fate would have it, you have the program the next day. How do you feel about that?
Absolutely not. I have a program set for the next day, so
Okay.
I'm kidding, Rick.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
But you did it so well.
You did that very well.
Interview and interrogation is my strong suit. I think it's an outstanding.
Okay, so regardless of whether you show up for the play, we will not have a meeting on the 5th here. All right? So the evening of the 4th with the play and dinner will constitute our meeting for February the 5th. I hope some of you can make it. I mentioned it last night to a group of young people who knew about it. And one person reiterated to the other group, to the other folks, that there are 2 performances, are there not?
Yes, it's a matinee.
Right, and then the evening one for us.
Evening one, yes.
It's the evening one's funds that will go help pay for the trip to Selma.
Selma trip,
Okay,
yes.
all right. So that's why it's important to get to the evening one. And let me also make a suggestion to put in the back of your minds that even if you cannot make that, the tickets are only $15.
Yeah.
If you would like to contribute $15 toward the trip for the folks to go to Selma, please consider that.
Absolutely.
And then,
If you do it online, you'll print it at home. There's your
Yeah,
ticket.
that's the ticket.
Did you say that you have the tickets on you?
I will have 300. I just found out today that we had it. So yes, I will have some.
And when?
We'll find out when I get to the office. Because
So you can have them
I didn't
next week.
realize that there was a convenience fee associated. So I called yesterday and said, look, I can't. And she's going to print me about 300. And I should have them, I'm going to have them today or tomorrow if I have to go personally pick them up. So they'll be at my office.
How
But
long-
also understand that Morning Star and Friendship, what up from Morning Star? Friendship, they're both selling them as well. So, but please come by the office and I'll get them for you.
Is it general admission as far as seating?
Yes, there will be some reserved seating, but it's general admission. And if you want to come by and pay me, then I'll assure that you get, or if you want to pay me, I'll assure that you get tickets. I'll earmark them when I pick them up either today or tomorrow.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you, Jenny.
How long does the play last, run?
Bedtime.
It's a couple hours easy.
A couple of hours, so if we go at 7, we don't get out until about 9-ish.
Go eat early.
Eat before.
Oh, eat before.
Eat before,
okay.
yeah.
What is
If
this?
we eat at 6,
Okay.
Thank you both.
it's at 7:30, right?
What?
Play?
7.
So if we went to dinner at 5:30, because
We
it
should
would
get
be,
there in plenty of time.
right, 5 or 5:30?
Yeah, that'll work.
5 would
Very
make it
good. And we'll
safe.
talk about that place close to the college.
If anyone brings spouses, as far as the number of people, like what is the rate?
I bring,
Of course, a place to facilitate, I guess, a large group like that.
E. Monroe.
no, dinner.
He's talking about
Oh,
the dinner place.
Dinner.
I was going to say,
Especially-
fill it up.
I know.
Especially if people bring spouses or.
Right,
For dinner.
for dinner, yeah.
All right. You'll notice that each week I put from the president in our bulletin. This week I made reference to Dr. King, and we get a chance to go read it. But the phrase "What are you doing for others?" came from a sermon that he delivered in 1957, and I like the concept. What are we doing for others? Not what have we done, not will we do, what are we doing right now? And I would like to make sure that we keep that in the back of our mind. That's what we do. That's what we're all about anyway. But I just sort of reiterate. I mention it simply because I got to come up with something every week. And if any of you have any ideas of things you would like, a topic or whatever you want me to expound on, or if you would like to be a guest writer or columnist for this particular section, please let me know. The page 2, if you see how much writing there, Gavin takes care of that. I don't know where he gets all his stuff from, but every week he's got something to go in there. And we usually try to get stuff to her, to Barbara, no later than Tuesday. And I sent this in yesterday morning, so she's pretty good at putting stuff together for our bulletin. So if you have ideas, please let me know. Last week, yes.
No, go ahead. When you finish.
Okay, last week we talked about what it's like to, and that came from another article in Rotarian magazine, which, by the way, was mentioned last night in a 1-hour teleconference or phone conference I was on about membership for Rotary. District Governor Tiffany mentioned Hickory Sunrise and the fact that we are at our Sergeant of Arms asks a question usually every week from the Rotarian magazine as a way to get us thinking about the magazine. So we were recognized last night for that, and for something else as well later on.
And she's the only one that identified how many pages of Rotarian magazine.
They did not, and I tried to talk in because I was on the phone. Most people are on a computer so they can be seen and wave their hands and stuff, but I was on my cell phone and I tried to, and it didn't go through. I could hear them, they couldn't hear me at all. But I was going to warn people, if you come to Hickory Sunrise, know that the magazine has 64 pages in it because you go get asked. So anyway, if anybody has what it's like to, please think about that. The pink pages are pages that I have to fill out information about what we do throughout the year, that I submit to Rotary in our district, and it's what has given us in the past the awards. Now we're not a small club according to this year. We're a medium-sized club, and that ratchets up. We're competing against bigger clubs now that have more members than we do. But Rhino and I met Monday to go over some things. I cannot tell you how helpful he is. I met with the other two presidents in Hickory Friday morning, and we were talking about the pink pages, and they were talking about their executive committees working on stuff. They looked at me, I said, I don't have an executive committee, I've got Rhino. And they said, okay, you got Rhino, never mind, you got it covered. He's Mr. Rotary here, and I'm so grateful for his help. I will be emailing you various and sundry questions about, did you attend, did anybody go, these kinds of things. For example, I will be going to the district conference in Greenville, South Carolina at the end of April. That gives us points. Anybody going to Honolulu gives us points. And Michael might be going. I cannot make it to Honolulu, but it's those kinds of things. Attending various and sundry meetings, I get points last night for listening to the thing. So I will send stuff out to you because I want to make sure we get credit for every single thing we do. Let's see, and the meeting last night, I will share with you also through an email and or during a club assembly about memberships. Even really good stuff I got last night about that, sir.
I apologize. I must have missed the email or something, because I would definitely wanted to have been in on that. I was in on one early in the week.
DEI.
Okay.
Diversity and inclusion.
Yeah, and I heard some comments that I liked a lot as we moved through, but as I told people, things that we do in Rotary has to be intentional around this whole diversity, inclusivity, and engagement piece. So Cinda was on there with us, and I thought we had Roger. Yeah, we were on, and I think we had a good dialogue.
Good, good.
At least it's the first step. I see Rhino smiling. We probably had more members on there than anybody.
We have, from that, developed some priming material to give to the chair, both for a PowerPoint and for a printed handout.
Good.
I'll cover that with you for content.
Can I throw a question? I heard that you said you were not going to Honolulu.
That's correct.
Okay, it has been the practice of this club to provide, I think, up to $2,000 for the person that sits in your seat to go to wherever Rotary International was held. Can we, as a club, extend that offer to the president-elect?
You can extend it to Michael. I mean, a member can. Now,
it's for a club attendee.
Yeah,
right.
We need somebody from the club to attend in order for us to get points. I just can't work it in my schedule right now. But
I thought you were retired.
All
right, I'll leave
so did I.
I'll leave it.
Retired as a national,
Richard.
What's the old saying? I didn't quit working, I just quit getting paid.
No, you don't need
One last thing. Gene wanted me to ask anybody if they were going to take pictures at the winter warm, so we could send it to the newsletter. The newsletter. So if anybody can take some pictures, please do, and get those to Gene.
I think we need to be careful in taking those pictures. I think we need to take some pictures of our setup and our folks there working.
That's what we did.
But not the
people that come.
That's right. We know what to do.
They should go on our website as well as to the district Rotary thing.
And they can
one
go
more
to
thing before I get to Michael.
Rotarian magazine.
One more thing before I get to Michael. The shelter box raffle will be just us. It will not be the other two clubs. I've already let Kenny know to go ahead and print 200 tickets for that. Michael.
One last thing. In the spirit of the Tuskegee Airmen And when I called my cousin, first cousin, she retired as Colonel Sylvia Walker. She's my first cousin. And I asked her, because I knew she went to Tuskegee, and she gave me some information. One of them is I did not know that my great uncle got killed, my grandfather's brother got killed in World War I. And they served, and that his survivor benefits helped buy all this land that we have in Camp Hill, Alabama, which is a little town. And she also went to Tuskegee, but what she was in class of 74, that was the first time that they allowed women to get commissioned as an officer, and she was in that first class. Not only that, she was the first woman from that group in Tuskegee to become a colonel in the United States. Wow. So I just wanted to share that in lieu of, and by talking to her, Steve and I were talking, and well, you tell them what you found out.
Yeah, actually, Rick, I sent that to you. My cousin was, she went to Tuskegee and she got a Medal of Honor for her work she did with the Tuskegee Airmen. And her story is just phenomenal. I knew, Michael sort of got me interested, and I called my mother, who's 90, and I said, Mom, I don't remember the lady's name who's relative. And she just, right off the bat, now she's 90 years old, right off the bat gave me the name, and we started researching it. And it was just at awe, you know, when I got to reading. And she advised that George Washington Carver encouraged her.
Wow. Yeah, I remember reading that. That was a powerful, powerful piece.
Yes.
We want to share that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'll see if I can remember. I don't forget, because memories.
That can become a what's it like too. What's it like to discover your history?
Yeah, and you just did. Thank you for
sharing. She's from
that.
Lawndale.
Wow.
North Carolina.
Another fact about Tuskegee is historically Tuskegee has produced more multimillionaires than Harvard, Yale, and Princeton combined.
Sure enough. Wow. And they have my permission to join our club.
Rick, were you going to say anything about this presentation Sunday?
Well, yeah, and I did put it in there to start from the president, but Jim and I were part of a group of veterans who were given the Martin Luther King Jr. Spirit Award for our group, the Veterans Helping Veterans, because of the work that we do within the community, and
service above self.
And that's why I put in here. I don't know if Dr. King was a Rotarian, but he should have been, because service above self is what he did. Any other announcements before we close?
Ryla, we need to commit to the 4 that we're going to set.
I thought we did.
Yeah.
I'm just reiterating,
yeah,
because
we're going to set 4 to Ryla.
We have to commit to the committee so they know how many to plan for.
We're sending 4. And T-shirt sizes, if you want the shirt that he was.
The thing came around.
It's gone around. If you did not put your size on here and you want a T-shirt, please see Ryan before we go. Biggie, thank you so much for joining us today. Kelly, thank you for joining us, and hope you guys will come back and visit us sometime. Mr. Hunt,
of the things we say or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Have a good week.